Welcome to the Fabric of America, the podcast that celebrates small businesses and the remarkable stories that weave our communities together. We're your hosts, Melissa Otto
and Matt Banover.
Matt is a fashion designer passionate about storytelling through style.
And Melissa is a seamstress on a mission to make sewing cool again and inspire the next generation. We sit down with small business owners, artisans, and dreamers to uncover the stories behind their brand, what inspires them, challenges them, and keeps them creating.
Because we believe that behind every idea, every design, every stitch, there's a story worth sharing. So grab a drink from your favorite local shop and join us as we weave together conversations about passion, perseverance, and the power of small business.
There was a time, I feel like there's a time for every kid where you try to pick up a pencil or pick up a paintbrush and test the waters of how artistic it might be. I remember I was really big into stenciling. So not stenciling, tracing, I guess would be so
trace with a stencil.
Watching Dragon Ball Z or playing Zelda, I have notebooks of pictures I drew of Dragon Ball Z characters or Zelda, and then I realized I'm not good. And I should probably stop. And that was good to know. I think a part of entrepreneurship is also failing fast. Just when you know it's not working, it's
or
just
failing forward. I always used to like that term, failing forward.
Yes,
You failed
exactly.
at something, but you moved in a forward direction.
Exactly. Fail fast, learn fast, keep moving. That mindset. And you had the perfect person to embody this.
Yes, I did. So we had on Olivia Fiyabomb, who is actually an artist who happens to be local to us, which is amazing. Matt actually was like, how are you not from New York?
Literally
And
shocked.
yeah, it was awesome. And it's because there is, I feel like, a levity to what she does and how she is and who she is. And we get into such great conversations, I think, around not just business, which is that's easy for us, right? To talk about business, but to talk about this intersection of mental health and business and the resilience that comes from being a business owner, from being an entrepreneur, from going through failures, working through hard times. And I think it's interesting and challenging and thought-provoking when we get into these conversations and share with the listener, because we're all sharing, similar but different experiences. But just like anybody in life, we've all been through struggles. We've all hit a low, and it's how you work through those moments and build your character. And if you're a business owner, build the business back up, or shift it into something else. And I think that was such a brilliant part of our conversation with her.
Those are all the words.
Yeah. So, all right, you're done.
That was
Nothing from your peanut gallery.
Yeah, no, I mean, why would I take away your shine? And let's just get into our conversation with Fiyabomb.
As an artist, do you have your set amount of people that you want to see a month?
It really depends, because for my business, I offer so many things. And because I offer so many things, it normally takes each a different amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And from there, that's how I plan out my calendars.
Yeah.
And I like to show how universal I am. So I don't like to place myself in a box.
Yeah.
But I give myself a couple of days too to rest and relax. And then there's weeks where it's not like that, and I feel like I'm going to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
But then you come back to yourself and you're like, okay, I know this is not for the week, but I'm built for it.
Yeah.
You sound like the perfect blend between Melissa and
Yeah.
I.
if me and I were a mixture, go like this real quick, because you have a weird hair doing things.
Oh my
there you
goodness.
go.
I
Help, that's better. Helping you help yourself.
Yes.
Looking out for you.
Friend.
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
don't want that weird.
Yeah. She just doesn't want me to look weird next to her. She's
That's also true. Yeah, it's self-preservation.
All right, am I less weird?
No, you're good. You're good. You got it.
Yeah.
It just was like, you sometimes just one
I hear you. It's
rejects the bunch,
it's that
rejects
gray
the
hair
crowd.
trying to
It
secede
is though.
from my
No,
body.
literally.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was a gray hair. That's
Yeah,
funny.
That's how it be.
But all right. Well, so I wanted to start in asking you about this concept, and it's something we've mentioned before on the show of like the notion of a starving artist, right? Like there's been this general state of mind of like art and creative endeavors are not like real jobs, right? Like you have like you ride the struggle bus. How do you go from gig to gig?
Yeah.
Like how do you make money, right? And it feels like you have kind of successfully navigated those waters, and I'm sure it took some time, but for the listener who doesn't know what it's like to be an artist as a career, like what did that look like for you to like get started and find your way?
Okay, so first I'm gonna say it's hard as shit. And it is. And I started really young. I started when I was 21.
Yeah.
Instagram just came out. So this is a very long time ago.
Yeah.
But also I want to tell people too that if you're going in a creative route, a creative field, and it's non-traditional, a lot of the times in it, you're questioning yourself. You're questioning like, am I supposed to do this? Like, it feels good, but is it gonna give me the stable financial like ability to make sure that I'm able to pay for things, right?
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I have to say the very first thing, every time when I hear or I meet another business owner, I just know you're strong because it's
Yeah.
it's not built for not for the weak.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. So if you're doing it already, I feel like you showed up in a way for yourself where you already exemplify resilience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have that in you.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like a lot of people are patient, but when it comes to our craft, we're pretty patient enough, right? We get like kind of
Totally.
locked into it where
Yeah.
we vibe in and all
It's
that.
the endurance.
Yeah.
It's like just
You're you.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
like
you get to
you're
be you.
very much comfortable with the uncertainty. It's not
Yeah.
like a temporary state. It's a part of the process.
Right.
It's like I
Correct.
know I have to feel
Correct.
this
Yeah.
because I get to do what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like I look at my bank account. I'm like I might starve to death this week,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
And that's always
Yeah.
when the call comes
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
When you're like
I
right
literally-
at that bottom.
Yeah.
You're just right there.
And I know for me personally, when I meet another person that wants to start a business,
Yeah.
I'm already like very like congratulations to them because it's just like, okay, I know you made a decision.
Yeah.
Like it's like not one of those, oh, I have an idea. It's like one of those people that's just like, I just started my new business.
Right.
I'm a new small business owner. I'm just like, good for you.
It's not the I want to, it's the I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like,
Or I
there
am.
I am. I'm in
Yeah.
it. I'm ready to
Yeah.
make sacrifices.
And good for
or
you.
you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing too that's interesting that we've talked about with social media is and you mentioned like when Instagram was coming to, you know,
Mhm.
a place of popularity.
Mhm.
Before that, right? We were only sharing so much of our lives in person, right? So
Yep.
if someone saw
Yep.
your business from
Mhm.
an outside lens, they're just seeing probably the good parts, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're not always like sitting there crying, riding the
Yeah.
struggle bus, sharing it with everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same even in the dawn of social. Like, we're not always on social media like, guys, today was the hardest, worst day, and I've got $1 to my name and
Mhm.
whatever. But you navigate through those waters. So I think it's easier for sometimes for people to be like, oh, they've got it together, they've got it going on.
Yeah.
Because they
It
only
must be
choose
so
to see the
easy,
good
da da da
too.
da.
Yeah.
And we may be selective in what we share. But one of the things that I always gravitated to you about was that you've always been so genuine in your online presence. Like, it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I'm serious. Like, there is something about like the gravitational pull of that for me as someone who like
Thank you.
we just met in person,
Yeah.
like IRL
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
feel
really?
like
You guys have never met?
never met
Oh,
face
wow.
to
She
face.
writes me all the time.
She sings your praises. I
We-
thought you guys were
we
like went to
talk
high
all
school
the time.
together.
No,
or
like,
something.
we talk all the time. Then we
Yeah.
started voice memoing
Yeah,
each other.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's just
Yeah.
a different like
love
level of
that.
connectivity. I feel like that you bring to the table.
Mhm.
Did you have to work at that? Has it just kind of come naturally? Did you feel uncomfortable getting so vulnerable in front of like strangers? Like,
So first off, I gotta tell you, I used to be really quiet. I was really quiet in college.
Okay.
And then when I made the decision, I was just like, I'm going to be an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but I don't want to be like one of those like stush artists.
Yeah.
Like those like wallflowers. I don't talk to people.
You're
and
a
I'm just
recluse, like a weird
Yeah.
recluse
Yeah.
in your apartment kind of thing.
I wanted to be like one of those people where I'm just like, okay, you're going to talk to people and you're going to probably end up giving like really big speeches and all that. So you need to practice public speaking.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
And let me tell you, so I bought a lot of books about it. And then
I
I
love
started
that
like
so much.
looking in the mirror. I started narrating. Even like when I do like my
Really?
videos like on
Yeah.
Instagram and all that, it's probably like 56 takes before I get it like
No kidding.
on point. But it was like one of those things where, and even during the time, right? I'm a woman. I own this business and I'm just like, how can I best represent myself? Because one, art is so subjective. Either you like my stuff or you don't, right? And let's just say you might not be fond of my stuff, but I'm going to make sure you're fond of the person.
Yeah.
And how I can do that is engagement. Like I want to not like, it's not my job to beat the algorithm, but in a way, if I can bring people back because they like the person, then they're just also like, oh, I want to support her art or I want to support her business.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I
You
lose
just
these.
round
Yeah,
that up
literally.
like one of those kid toys. Just
Okay.
let
I
them
have
loose.
a couple points. The first one is about the being perfect on social media. I do a lot of like talking to the camera, 2-minute videos. That video is about 7 or 8 minutes when I record it.
Yeah.
And then I chop it down.
Chop it,
It's
split
like,
it.
just don't be afraid. Like, you don't have to get that
Yeah.
perfect takeout.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and be like, so I wanted to
Yep.
So I want to talk to you about, and like, you just chop it up,
Yep.
like whatever, just like
Yep.
get comfortable, like
Yep.
get loose. I love that. I love this idea of seeing it in your head before it happens.
Yep.
I love listening to all of these public speakers or champions or whatever that are like, I've been on this stage 1,000 times before in my mind, and then I arrive. Like, I love that mantra. But then the last bit is about you being you on social media. So I had this conversation the other day about somebody was saying, one of my friends was like, I was on your Instagram and I was trying to find some of your product and it was kind of difficult. And I was like, that's actually intentional.
Yep.
If you want to see my product, go to my website.
Yep. There you go.
My product isn't going to make you want to buy because it's subjective. You like, I can't bank on, if you see this and it's not for you, then I'm going to lose you.
Yeah.
But if you listen to me talk, I have a much better chance of gripping you.
Yeah.
So I talk to people all the time. I'm like, you got to put you in your brand.
Yeah.
You are
the walking card.
You are what's going to sell.
Right.
Not a banana taped to a wall.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
I mean,
the
apparently that
person,
seems to sell.
but it's like the story that goes around it. It's you have to really get yourself immersed in your brand so much more. So I just want to take a quick beat. What is your art? For somebody who doesn't know you, what is the art that you do?
Okay, so I specialize in surrealism, and surrealism more so, I'm very whimsical. A lot of like my pieces are very imaginative, and they're very thought like from my head. So it's not anything like too much like copy paste. Like I'm very like, tell me a story, and then my mind starts driving and all that, and then I can bring your story to life by just using these simple like
exactly what I do with my business.
details,
right?
Right? And then from there, like I use like the art to tell a story. So I'm a very big storyteller. Yeah, and a lot of the times my palette is really friendly. It's very warm and vibrant, but I use like the palette too to like welcome difficult conversations. So I'm very big on like talking about mental health. I'm talking about women empowerment and all that. Sometimes the conversations can be controversial, but I feel like if I use friendly colors, it downplays a little bit more so before we get deep.
Makes it digestible.
Yeah.
What's an
or
example
inviting
of
for
that?
someone.
Like, what do you see when you mean?
What's an example of a difficult conversation that you translated into art?
Okay, so I feel like mental health is big,
Yeah.
like depression, PTSD, anxiety, even like our everyday problems of trying to have boundaries for ourselves. difficult conversations within relationships, within our families, our friends, our colleagues. We get too nervous, too scared to speak up for ourselves. So I did a painting, and it talked about like my own life. And I swear, I feel like every creative has had like this point of their life where like it's just a really low, dark space. And this is a couple years ago. I painted a hand. And the hand it has a paintbrush inside of the hand, and it also has a slit near the wrist. But there's a rope that's attached to the paintbrush, and there's angels that are pulling at the paintbrush and the rope, and they seal up the wound. But in the sealing up the wound, it says...
the cry just from your description.
Oh, I can show you the painting too.
Yeah.
And then from...
we'll be putting it online, don't you worry.
Sealing up the wound, it says live. It says L-I-V. The stitch, it creates out the word live. And the painting is called Choose to Live. Yeah. And it's like one of those things every single day where it's like when you go through something like so hard in your life and you just feel like you can't get out of it, sometimes it just almost seems like we have no choice but to pull ourselves out. And you have to choose yourself every single day. And it's really hard. It's really hard because I feel like it's really easy. Like it's really easy like to give up. It's a lot harder to just say, okay, I feel this way, but I'm going to show up again tomorrow. And I'm going to show up again tomorrow so that I don't feel this way anymore. Yeah.
It's almost like a difference between, I don't want to use the word coasting, but it's like when you're just floating through it as opposed to actively moving through it.
Yeah.
And like surrendering to that process of discomfort in a way and those emotions. And like you have to kind of combine allowing yourself to feel it, but knowing it's all temporary.
Don't let it get too deep.
Yeah.
Like it's also, it's the ability to be present in the past, present, and future.
Yes.
You went through this struggle, things happened, you're going through it now, but you're doing it for the future. And then also once you're past it, remembering what you went through, like keeping it, not like, glad that's over. It's like, no, that happened. It really happened. It's a part of you.
Yes.
Like that darkness
you carry
happened.
that.
Like, carrying that energy and learning from it. Or if you didn't learn anything immediately, like being like, okay, well, what can this teach me going forward?
Reflective.
And one of the things that I want to make sure is that when I do artwork like that, I just make sure that the conversations are normalized. We keep exercising the conversation
just
so
put it
that
out there.
Nobody feels like, oh my God, like it's not only me. Like you don't want anyone to feel like they're crazy or they're alone because there's too many people out here saying like, oh my gosh, she's too crazy or she's sensitive or she's dramatic or she's theatrical. Like it's just like, no, these are real feelings and everybody has them.
Reminds me of a newsletter I got today.
Oh, mine. Yeah. You got it this morning?
Yeah.
So I put at the top. So I try each time I write a newsletter for kind of my umbrella of businesses to be really candid about like whatever's going on in life. And I really struggled with this one because I was like, all right, I'm just going to give like an overview of everything that's going on in like all these different arms of business. And I started typing it out and I'm like, that doesn't feel genuine. And then I wrote something else and then something else again. And then I like opened up a Word document to type in there. Like I just couldn't. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just get real. This has been like the hardest 2 months of my life. I've been in the darkest mental place that I've been in for a long time. If you know me, you know that. But if you don't know me, you're watching me from afar going, oh, she's got like 3 businesses. She's doing whatever. Like she's fine. And it's not been fine. Like, so I just put that all in the writing and was like, anyone else?
And you'd be
2025 has been fucking weird.
That's what they want to read. Because then it shows that you're human.
That's exactly it. And it felt so, and that poured out so much easier than trying to like mask everything behind a like just literal
covering it.
Like, and it wasn't trying to necessarily like make it fine, but it was just trying to be like, I don't want to go there. Like, I'm not going to touch on that part of it. But then,
that's when you
like
should
I
go
said,
there.
that's exactly where
you should go there.
that's what I did. So I've literally had that drafted for probably a month without a beginning because I couldn't get out what to write. And then I sat last week to try to do it. And then literally last night, within about 15, 20 minutes, when I just let it go,
and it just came out
it
so
was out.
fluid.
And I'm like, send,
you're telling the
done,
truth.
schedule.
I think it definitely takes a certain type of person to be able to see that in people, to like know that you're human. You've got darkness, you've got imperfections, and it's all beautiful. How do I make you feel seen? and in a comfortable space.
I was just saying, safe enough to,
Yeah.
you're safe enough to share that with your cohort.
Right.
And it's almost inviting this safety back, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you get people who are like, I needed that today.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Or
God.
blah, blah, blah.
so
You know what I mean?
many.
All
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So it just shows, we talk about community a lot on this
Yes.
podcast. Like it just shows that even if you don't know somebody directly
Yeah.
in person in
Yeah.
real life,
Mhm.
we have this connective like thread that goes through it all that just, it brings us together and it makes us just long for a sense of belonging and a sense of like people that understand us and get what we're going through. So the more we
Agreed.
like actually suffer in silence, the more of a disservice it does for our greater community.
Yeah. And what
And this is one of the best ways to build your audience.
Yeah.
That's how you know who your people are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
and one thing that I've talked about in what I do, in respects to what I do, is that I found that all I want to do in life is connect with people.
Yeah.
But you can't get paid just to connect with people. You got to pay your bills.
Maybe eventually, but
But I was just like, well, what can I use? What can that medium be? Because I
Yeah.
need to give people a reason to open up to me.
Yep.
Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say about the world? Like, what do you want to say about your life? What do you want? All this. And so when people come in, we have very long conversations. I had a client come in yesterday at 2:50. He left close to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he just sat here. We sat here before we ever went and looked at fabrics. And he's just pouring out like what he's been through, what all this. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to talk about. And we talked about me being in recovery and this and that and what he's struggled with because he's in a startup world. And he's like, I see people bet it all on this idea and it tanks and they lose their 401k and they lose this,
Yeah.
they lose their house. And he's like, I'm around that all the time
Mm-hmm.
in this startup world. I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare, But like Melissa, same thing. In the bridal world, the bridal is the peak of what your life should be.
Yeah.
The best day of your life.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything's
Visual.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
found love.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality,
it's the most stressful
You're the most-
fucking time
and it
for
takes-
everyone.
yeah. And it takes
Yeah.
somebody as amazing as Melissa to be like, you're
Slow
safe.
down. Everybody
You're
calm.
safe.
Yeah.
Like, let's just talk.
Calm.
Oh my
You
God.
know?
And you have a business where you will always be in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good? No.
Yeah. So where is your art? Like, do you just paint a picture and somebody buys it? Is it on walls? Like what?
So, oh my God. It's going to go into a rabbit
I'm
hole.
so excited.
Yeah.
Wait, first too, have you been, remember the coffee shop I told you about in Hartford that I went to?
Yes. Yeah.
My husband and I stayed at the Goodwin Hotel. We had
Yes,
won a
yes,
raffle
yeah.
thing. And we stayed, and I'm like, we got to go to a local shop, right? We can't just go to Starbucks. So
Was
we
it on
got up.
Pratt?
He Googled, I believe so. Yeah.
It's half coffee shop, half
Yes.
tattoo shop.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, Refuge. It's
Okay,
on
so
Pratt
it is
Street.
Refuge.
yeah, it's
Yes,
like it's
Refuge
like
tattoo.
So
Yeah.
that's the one. Shout out to them. I'm so sorry I didn't know the name, but I
Yeah.
walked in,
It's my Nipsey.
and your Nipsey Hussle's
Yeah, my
there.
Nipsey's there.
Okay.
And it's so good. And I walked in and I literally looked at my husband. I'm like, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. I was like, I know this girl from online. This is her artwork. I can't believe I'm like seeing it out in the wild. It was the coolest shit. And
Wow.
he's like, okay. Like, he's like you and your crazy like connections to everyone. He
You
just laughs
posted
at me.
about
But
this.
yes, I did
Yes,
post
you
about it.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes. So anyway,
Yes.
sorry.
Love that.
Continue.
So it's like everywhere. So I want to begin by saying like I started off as like a commission artist. I did canvas work.
Okay.
And then the canvas work then slowly moved to walls, and I started doing murals, and then it moved to cars. So I started painting cars for
Okay.
companies for their auctions or their charities, and then that became I started painting clothes for like a lot of celebrities on their clothes.
Oh, that's right. You did. Did you do? Was it Sweetie?
Yeah,
It was Sweetie.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, it was jeans, right?
Yeah.
That was
for her
sick. I remember
concert.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it moved on to like, okay, people want to learn how to paint. So then I started doing paint parties. And then from there, it went to painting live at weddings. So it just navigated through like so many different directions.
Yeah.
But you can find it in a lot of places.
Okay. Now,
She's
where
You're about to find it at Demelis Atelier.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm excited because by the time this episode airs, we'll be able to like.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did art show up in your life?
Oh my God, I love this question. It was when I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Not even kidding. I just knew.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like one of those feelings where you're like, once you know, you go around and you tell everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, if there was any amount of confidence I had in being like that young, I was walking around at like 6 telling everybody I'm going to be an artist.
Yeah.
I always
Wow.
knew. I
Yeah.
always knew.
Yeah.
And it was after watching PBS, Bob Ross.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
PBS.
Hell yeah. Shout out Bob
Save
Ross.
PBS.
Yes,
for
and I
real.
literally was like, oh my God, this man is so calm. He's so happy, and he's showing people how to paint, and he does it so fast, and I just want to be just like him. I'm not like him. I'm
Yeah.
not like him.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that I feel like because I was exposed to it, and then I was also good at it, like when I was even young. So then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna go around and tell everybody I'm gonna be an artist. I never not said that.
Were you in a fostering environment for that? Like people encouraged your art?
Okay, so my family is super immigrant.
Yeah.
My family's from Vietnam.
Okay.
And my first grade teacher, so I remember she said to my dad, her name was Miss Borden. She said to my dad, and my dad doesn't speak like that great of English, whatever, but she was just like, your daughter is so talented and you must nurture this now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do this now. She's going to end up being like a great artist.
Yeah.
So there was like a free program at the Wadsworth Athenaeum downtown in Hartford. And she was just telling, she was just like urging it. Like she was just like you need to put Olivia in this program. I ended up meeting like a lot of people, but then from there, like he started buying me art supplies from Jerry's Artsorama. And even back then, art supplies were so much money.
Yeah.
So like him and my mom would go back and forth, and they're just like, why are you spending this amount of money to get her sketchbooks or color pencils or whatever? But I always used all of them.
Yeah.
And I kept at it. Like I was just like in grade school, middle school, high school, and all that, I feel like I was like known to be like the artistic person.
Okay.
And I would help a lot of the other students out with their art projects or whatever. But then it was so easy to be like categorized as that, where they're just like, oh, what's it called? If I need something done, I can count on Liv.
Yeah.
And then I feel like from there, it built like this little small network of other high schools around.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just went to college. I went and I studied art. Like I just never gave up on it at all.
Where'd you go?
I went for high school or college?
College.
CCSU,
Okay.
Central Connecticut State
Are
University.
you from Connecticut?
I am.
Okay.
I'm from Hartford.
Okay.
I'm from Hartford. I live in New Britain.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were from New York City.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She vibes that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. Everyone always thinks I'm from like LA or like.
People always think I'm from LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Which is funny because you wore a suit in LA and you were like, no one's wearing a suit.
Yeah,
in LA.
exactly.
It was really
I was
funny.
like, this just closed that
Yeah,
whole
it's not-
discussion.
not real.
I'm the furthest from LA possible. Where did the whimsy start to show up in your art?
So I, when I was in college, my focal point in college was illustration. I was always really good at drawing, but I had a professor tell me, and I love that he told me this too. He was just like, you were so very well skilled. He was just like if I ask you, hey, Olivia, copy this picture onto this next paper and all that, you can do it within like minutes.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it all my life. He was just like, I want to see creativity. He was like, I want to see talent. And he was just like, there is a difference between skill and there's a difference between talent. That has never left me. Because then from there, I'm just like, wow, there is a difference between skill and then there's a difference between you being your own person, showing people what you got.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was the next course. I took a different drawing course and I just started like saying to myself, nothing you do is going to be wrong. He wanted to see talent. He's about to see like all this different type of creativity that comes from your head. And he was so wowed by it. Like the chair was wowed by it. Like the department was just like, she's really talented. Like these things come from her mind. She's not copying anything. You tell her something, she just like does it.
You were just like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I
Mic
also,
drop.
even when you're young like that, right? But you have to also be like, I feel like receiving of information like that because when you're young, we're stubborn.
Yeah.
We're just like, don't
Yeah.
tell me about my art. I know,
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
felt like he was like more like, no, I know that you have it in you. When I was an illustrator, he was just like, I know for a fact you're going to be an amazing painter. He was like, have you ever painted? And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't paint at all in college.
Yeah.
So then when I graduated, I went to AC Moore one day and I was just like, I'm going to teach myself how to paint.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then now, and now the way that I paint is like crazy.
You would never know you didn't start painting until after college. Like, that's
Yeah,
insane.
I started painting at 23.
That's insane
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And now it's
Wow.
Yeah.
but like, how cool of a situation. I mean, literally one thing one person said
Yeah.
could have gone in a
Yeah.
whole different direction in your life.
Yes.
Really. Like, just to go to show, like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know the impact we have on people when we dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, when
Yeah.
we say things to them, especially, you know, in the positive
And
sense. It could be, critique too, but
Yeah. And I've also had asshole teachers too,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
it's easy to be in college and we're young. We're looking at these educators, these advisors for advice and all
Yeah.
that. So sometimes when it's your art, and I did studio art, right? So we don't do regular grading. We kind of sit in a circle, kumbaya, and that's how we critique work.
Yeah.
right.
And then it's like when you hear people's opinions, it can easily be discouraging and you're
Yeah.
just like, maybe art's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had other great teachers where they're just like, I see it in you. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I hear what your teacher said to you, what I interpret from that is not just there's skill and there's talent.
Mm-hmm.
What I heard was he was fostering a hunger in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could be the most skilled
mindset.
artist in
Yeah.
the world, but if you don't go after it,
Yeah.
you know, how many
Yeah.
people are the most talented, but they don't
Yeah.
go for it?
Go after
Yeah.
You know,
it.
they say that
Yes.
the place with the best ideas in the world
Mhm.
is the graveyard. You know,
Wow.
all
Wow.
that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
But that's so fucking
Wow.
all
true.
the think about all the potential in the graveyard, and people just
Yeah.
never went for it.
Yeah.
And you know what it is right there? That's trust. You have
Yeah.
to find it in you to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Totally.
A lot of people don't trust themselves,
Yeah.
where they're just like, they question themselves all the time, where they're just like, I'm not sure if I'm built for this. I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm not sure if that's the job that's meant for me. And every time when I go into something, I'm like, I go into things where like, I know I could do that.
Yeah.
I'm the person for your job.
Did you guys, I know you watched White Lotus. Did you watch White Lotus by any chance?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But one of my friends, he's a content
It's
creator.
so
He was
good.
actually invited to their event.
Oh, wow.
yes, in LA.
So
Yes.
Walton Goggins, one of the guys on it this season, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid there,
Yeah, Patrick
Schwarzenegger. He went up to Walton Goggins, who's, an older gentleman, older actor, and he said, do you ever get nervous
Mhm.
when you're doing this thing? And he said, well, yeah, all the time, but I never question that I'm the right guy for the job.
Oh
There you
my
go.
God.
And that
There you
has stuck
go.
with me. And I'm like,
Whole
damn, like
Yes.
that's,
yeah.
You can be nervous about it.
it's
Yes.
normal
Yeah.
to be nervous
Yeah.
about new experiences or
Yep.
this new job opportunity or whatever you're pulling from your mind and your gut and your soul. But you don't question that you can do it. You're the right
Yeah.
person for the job.
Yeah.
Right.
So good.
It's funny in this conversation. I think it's a perfect example of nerve, process, skill, endurance. It's all the same thing. It's
Yeah.
knowing that it all comes with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't get
You don't
to
get one without the other.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
get to go
You don't
for
get the
your
easy
dreams
way.
without knowing that this. And it's not like, oh, here's this obstacle. It's like, no, that's the path.
Yeah.
I have to go
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
and
no
like,
other way.
and
And it teaches you something hard about yourself,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, I took this on. It was so hard. I got nervous about it. And then I got through it. And then now you're like, I'm a level up now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not scared to live
Yeah.
anymore. I'm like, oh, I'm about to.
I'm
and if I
doing
keep,
it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing it. And if I keep on moving with this momentum, I'm gonna get even better and better and better.
Where did you learn that? Like,
Oh my God, through so much trial and error.
yeah. So where'd you learn the endurance, the procedures,
that
like the
resilience.
going for it,
Yeah.
that resilience?
Honestly, through failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's through failure, it's through bad business, it's through tough clients, it's through having those difficult conversations and all that. Because a lot of those things, when you are in business and it happens, you get like really anxious about it because it's never been a space that you had to deal with before, right? And it's like confronting other people, confronting pay, confronting and being the voice for yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, there's no one that's going to speak better for me other than representation, but there's no one that's going to speak better for me than me. And I need these people to know how serious I am.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I had to put myself in like certain situations that made me so uncomfortable and tell myself, get comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
Because
Stand your
then,
ground. Yep.
yeah, because you set the tone for everything. You set
Yeah.
the tone for how
Yeah.
people are going to talk to you and speak to you.
Yep.
What was a moment that it all got away from you, rock bottom in your entrepreneurship? Like, shit, this is a dark moment, and
like, I can't do this again. Kind
Yeah.
of thing. What was the lesson?
Oh my God. I feel like I have so many stories.
Yes.
You can share more than one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I'll give you an example for me while you think of yours. So, my first, when I started my business, June 2020, so still ripe in COVID,
Mhm.
you know, like couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go to people's houses. I had one client that I knew from before who said, Matt, wherever you go, I'll follow you. And I said, awesome. So I
Mhm.
started making him all these. He was like, just make me a bunch of clothes you already know. And, I'll see you when they're done. And I was like, perfect. So I made him all this stuff, his normal batch of clothing. And so I made it. I go to his house and I was like, all right, so here's all the stuff. And he was like, I don't want any of that. I actually don't even want to deal with you anymore. I don't want to do any of this.
So random.
So random. I think he saw like his out because I didn't charge him. I just took him on word of mouth and everything. And I always charged him at the end just because we had such a good relationship. I had been working with him for 2 years at that point. He had spent over $250,000 with me before.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like a one-time client. This guy was like, he just said, make me 15 suits and I would make them, kind of guy. So June 2020, world shut down. I quit my job. I started this. And he was just like, yeah, no, I'm done. Don't like lose my number. It was like much more of a violent conversation than that. But I was like, okay, well, I can't do anything. And so I was like, okay, I leave, tail between my legs. And I got stuck with a bill for $42,000 in COVID. I was 1 week into business and it was like, oh, so was this a mistake? Was this the worst? And no, and after 2.5 years, I paid it off. And now I barely even like think about like what those 2.5 years, those days were like. All I think about is like, oh yeah, I did that. Like if I got through that, I could get through anything.
Oh my God. So, okay. I got a good one. I got a really good one. So my last major exhibition was 2020. It was at Hudson Yards in New York City. And before it was at Hudson Yards, it was actually in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn, New York. It's definitely my steez.
Yeah.
I go and I rent a venue. The venue's 2,500 or 2,000, if I remember. This is 5 years ago. It fits 250 people. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this venue, put the money down, and now I'm going to sell tickets for people to come to the show. And if they know where the location's at, they're going to get their Airbnbs, hotels around to like make sure that they're situated. So I am in now full planning of everything. I'm very nostalgic person.
Yeah.
So all their invitations are backstage passes with my artwork on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like I'm very like
You go through all the little details. Yep.
So I get a phone call. It's 1 month before. Mind you, this is all done 8 months in advance, like to make sure that everything is ready. It's a very big show. We have to make sure we get catering done, alcohol, music, host, MCs and all that to make sure that everything is just going to be a great time. I get a call the month of the show, and they're just like, hey, do you mind doing Saturday? I mean, no, do you mind doing Sunday instead of Saturday? What's it called? We double booked. And then I was just like, no, my guests, and they're flying from all over the United States. My guests are coming in. They're coming in on Saturday. I'm not doing this show on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I'm sorry, but somebody booked for a wedding and they bought you out. And then I was just like, and then from there, I'm on the phone. I'm just like, well, you tell them that I'm going to buy them out and that you can't do their wedding.
Yeah.
But then also at this point, I don't trust these people now.
Right.
Now I'm here, I'm just like, I booked first, but if you were so willing to give it to these people because of more money,
Right.
I don't trust you now.
Right.
So here's the thing. When I announced my show, and I really, really absolutely love my following. They're so loyal, like throughout the years of following me and all that. My show, it was 250 guests. It was sold out in 2 days. Each ticket was $100.
Yeah.
I made $25,000 just like that in 2 days. And then from there, you go and you tell me I don't have a location.
Yeah.
And these people probably got their Airbnb and they got their hotels. I drive to New York City every single day looking for a venue. And let me just tell you the amount of stress that I was in.
Yeah.
Because the thing now, too, is like, I preferred to be in Brooklyn. Now the show moved to Hudson Yards. It moved to Manhattan, which is also 1 hour away.
Yeah.
But then also it's a different demographic of people
Yeah.
and it's a lot more money. So when they tried to tell me that they weren't going to give me my money back, they were just like, you have to go for Sunday. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that shit. So I love my group of girlfriends. They're all different entrepreneurs. They all got their own thing going on. One of my friends is a lawyer.
Yeah.
Always keep a lawyer.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And mind you, and she's so good at what she does. So she ends up being the MC of my show too, because she's very vocal. And I go and I call her and I'm just like, I need you to hit these people with a motherfucking header.
Yeah.
Like, and tell them I need my money back.
Yeah.
So she goes and she sends them a letter. They give me my money back instantly. But then now also I don't have a venue.
Yeah,
And these
asked
people
out.
bought their tickets.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they think they're going to a show that where is their location?
Yeah.
I go to Manhattan and I have a meeting at Hudson Yards. It's right next to the Vessel. And now the first venue that I paid for was $2,500, $2,000, right? I find a new venue. It's beautiful. It's a penthouse. You come right off the freight into the penthouse and everything's white. We get to rent their furniture and all that. The area is very chic. They want $10,000.
Oh.
They want $10,000 for 8 hours.
Oh.
And then I'm here. I'm just like, oh my God, $10,000. I was just like, I'm gonna like work my ass off for years just to like, be able to get like this venue.
Yeah.
And one of my girlfriends at the time, she came with me, and she was just like, "This is it. This is the space.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to make it work." And I'm like, "No, I don't think I got it. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it." So they come back and they told us, we are allowing our space 350 people. So
Ooh,
now
okay.
I'm here. I'm just like,
Oh.
I'm going to go back on Instagram and I'm going to say, hey, I have 150 extra more tickets.
Yeah.
Like, what's it called that I
Yeah.
can sell? Because
Yeah.
people were bummed when they missed the deadline. So I
Oh,
made an
nice.
extra 15,000
Oh.
instantly. It was like the next day.
Yeah.
So then I was able to
Cover
pay
your
for the
costs.
venue.
Yeah.
Shit.
But then also now these people are very uppity.
Yeah.
So and at the time I'm 30 years old. I walk in there and they're just like, these people, they cover Fashion Week and all that. So they're just like, what do these girls want with our space? Because
Yeah.
normally Fashion Week covers for 4 days, a week or whatever. And these companies, Puma, Fenty, whatever, they're paying $40,000 just to cover for that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I literally had to go in there and I had to go to the bank and take out money,
Yeah.
a lot of money. And I literally went in there, put the money on the table, and I was like, I want this space for 1 day.
Yeah.
Because one of the things about my exhibitions is it's only 4 hours that you get to see my artwork exclusively.
Mhm.
So, and I feel like the way that I market that, it places like a certain pressure,
Sure.
like where it's just like, this is the only time I get to see her
Yeah,
work. I want to go
It's a
see.
exclusivity.
value.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it takes 4 hours to set up. So then I grab
Gotcha.
a handful of my friends and I go and I tell them, like, guys, I need a lot of help. You don't got to pay for your ticket, but I will pay for our Airbnb. I need you to come in there, get dressed, and I need you to set up all the artwork, whatever.
Yeah.
15 of my friends were down. And they came fully dressed. They came and they set up the whole entire venue, helped me out. Amazing.
Yep.
The show was spectacular. So in total, I made $35,000 at the door for admission alone. I ended up selling so much artwork. I sold so much merch. There was 350 people there. All of my employees came from Instagram.
Yeah.
And then from there, I flew to Hungary after to celebrate my birthday, and I went solo by myself. But I remember the next day, I got a call from Forbes and I got a call from Entrepreneur, and they heard about the show,
Yeah.
and they were just
Wow.
like, "This is such an amazing turnout that you decided to bet on yourself like that."
Yeah.
And like, we just think it's so incredible. We would love to cover you. Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy."
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where it's just like and it's so hard, right?
Yeah.
Because when I first found out, right, that I didn't have a venue anymore and these people bought tickets,
Right.
I took a small trip to Philly and I called each of the 250 people personally that bought tickets.
Yeah.
And I literally was just like, hi, this is Fiyabomb. And I know on the phone they were just like, "What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how did you get my number?" But I have all their information when they buy tickets from my website. And I'm just like, I don't want you to think it's rude or anything or weird, but I'm calling you to tell you to cancel your reservation in Brooklyn for wherever you stayed at.
Yeah.
I deeply apologize. I wanted to make sure I do this in advance so that you're able to book a new hotel that's near Manhattan.
Yeah.
And even that, I put it on video and everything, and people were just like, "Oh my God, she thought to call 250 people."
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like character is so
Right.
important. So they're just like, "Oh my God, like she's doing this for her fans, or she's doing this for her audience, and all that. It must be really important to her."
Yeah.
So that was one of those things where it's like now. Oh my God, when it comes to even like shows like that, because it takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
Like the way that like I plan now, it's like a year in advance. Everything's paper trails, everything's contracts and all that. Everything's representation teams.
Yeah.
I don't go into spaces by myself. I go in with like these are like my great friends, but they're also like my trusted counsel.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, Liv, don't do this or don't do that. Or like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
But now you've been through one of the toughest probably
my
scenarios,
God.
most stressful, most like time sensitive, yada yada.
So
you can do
stressed.
anything.
I was so stressed. And then on top of that too, because I used to be quiet, I before the show happened, I went into intensive therapy because I get a lot of anxiety. I'm okay with it, but I get a lot of anxiety around a lot of people that want to take a picture with me or like want me to sign something. But
Really?
I feel like I'm congested into a corner.
Yeah.
Like I'm not able to move.
Yeah.
So the exhibition that they came to, it was my 30th birthday party. They didn't know though. They
Yeah.
walked into my birthday party. But I'm also, if you bought a ticket to support me, you came here, you bought merch and all that, I would never deny you a picture. I would never deny you a hug.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. Like, so in those spaces, the DJ, he would pull me out just so that I had time to like breathe.
Take a
like
break.
break,
Oh, that's awesome.
and be like with my family in a separate room and then come back out to the crowd.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
like they're
great.
flying from everywhere.
And
but-
I would bet to everyone that attended that night, like, yeah, they might know some of like, okay, the venue had to change. Like, what's up with that? You
Mhm.
know, quote unquote. But they walk in, they see it all came together.
Yeah.
They don't know all
Yeah.
the shit that
Man.
happened
Yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah.
They don't know that 15 of your friends were in their attire,
No.
setting up the artwork,
Yeah.
making it happen.
Oh my God.
They just walk in and they're like, damn, she's good.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But it's a testament to the theme of this conversation, which seems to be resilience and
Yeah.
being able to, you know, push through those hard times and just we make shit happen.
Mhm.
We make
It
shit
was so
work.
many tears though. It was so
Yeah,
many
I
tears
bet.
because it was just like, how is this happening? Like, is it not meant to happen? Is the show not meant to happen yet?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, no, Liv, you got to find a way and you got to really, really believe. Like,
Yeah.
believe that you can do it. It was the most money that I've ever invested in a show
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And there's
And
a lot of
look
my
at the
exhibitions.
return.
Yeah.
Like not just
Yeah.
monetarily, but
Oh, yeah.
you get Forbes an entrepreneur calling you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's sick. Like
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's just huge. No, all right. I want to backtrack for one quick second.
Okay.
Where did the name Fiyabomb come from?
Oh my
How
God,
did
this is
that
a
get
really
started?
good story too.
I love how you start every answer. Like,
Right.
oh my God,
That's a good
I can't wait to
story.
say it.
We're just so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Because honestly, everything always has like its own like lesson or
Yeah.
story, and I don't want to be morbid, but so Fiyabomb came from a song. It's actually a song from Rihanna. It's on her Rated R album. It's called Fiyabomb. And my college roommate at the time, she introduced me to the song. I was in a domestic relationship, and it was extremely bad during college. And I think like when you're young like that, and you have a significant other in college, you don't know each other outside of each other's identity.
Yeah.
So you're always like classified as her and him. So I think in that space, because we were so young and we didn't know any better outside of our identities, it was so easy to get annoyed by each other, sick of each other, and then it just ended up being very physical. But I used to, when our relationship ended, and it ended really badly, but when our relationship ended, my college roommate, and she passed away a couple years ago, but she was just like, hey, roomie, you should listen to this song. It's like really good. And I listened to this song, and it's called Fiyabomb. And in the song, it just talks about like, I want you to feel the burn that I felt so that you understand, like, you know, how what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes people don't realize the damage that is done or it is done to somebody and what it does to them overall, like years, like further on, and like the healing process they have to go through. Like, it's so easy to tell somebody, "I need you to get over it," and I'm just like, "No, I don't think so."
Yeah.
So from there, I went online and I had like some like generic the Twitter had just came out, Instagram just came out. I had some generic name, and then I really loved the song so much. So then I went online to see if Fiyabomb was taken, and somebody took it. So then I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just change it into Fiyabomb.
Yeah.
And literally to this day, this girl that has Fiyabomb, I DM her and I'm just like, listen, I'll pay you for this
Give
name.
it up.
I have
Yeah.
a trademark. I'll pay you
Give
for
it
this.
up.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's okay too. But that's where it came from.
That's really cool.
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank
too,
you.
it's such a testament with your art and what you do and what you put out there.
Mhm.
This notion, like where the song I see it kind of relating to like you as a person,
Thank you.
is your artwork is giving people an understanding. It's taking
Mhm.
them somewhere deeper into whatever their lived experience is
Yeah.
through your eyes, and this sort of like almost like a prompt, right? Like to make
Yes.
people dig in.
Yes.
I just think that's the amazing thing about art in general, right?
Mhm.
Being able to bring people into your world, but have them translate it through their own lens
Yeah.
is something that's so special and like powerful.
And I'm so serious about my name too. Like even like when they had me like on the news and all that, they're like, "Do you want us to address you as that?" I'm like, "Yes, please." It's trademarked, everything.
Yeah.
People call me Fiyabomb. It's okay if they don't want to, but
Yeah.
I just see it as it's my brand.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's Banksy. It's very,
Yeah.
you know, cause. It's very like
Yeah.
that's my artist name, and then my real name is Olivia.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to ask,
Yeah.
how did the 50 Cent thing come up? How did that
Yeah.
happen?
It's so good. Oh, it's so good. So this is so funny. And she's probably gonna watch this too. So my best friend, me and my best friend, I'm starting out as an artist. I'm 26. I remember this. But he was endorsed by a alcohol called Effin Vodka. And he used to live in Connecticut. He sold his house. And I think he filed for bankruptcy at this time. But
Yeah.
he was endorsed by this liquor called Effin Vodka, and he was doing a signing at some liquor store. I think it was in like Norwalk or Bridgeport. And me and my best friend, she's actually getting married.
No way.
Wait, did I ask you about the seamstress? Like, did I ask you about?
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you can alter my dress.
Okay, well, that'll be happening.
She's getting
Yes.
married next month. We've been friends for such a long time. So we go to the signing and we wait in line like everybody. And I have like this big painting where it's like this woman right next to the bottle, Effin Vodka. And I just wanted to like give it to him. He was so kind to me. I know he's a troll on social media, but he was so kind to me. And then he was just like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So always like when I meet or I encounter them, I don't expect them to do anything for
Yeah.
me. I'm not like a handout person. But I go and I take my own picture and I'm like, I'm going to post it on Instagram. And then I saw him post it on his Instagram, and the course of my life changed after that because I went and I grabbed his audience because he tagged me.
Yeah.
So the company that I'm affiliated with, they're called Nifty. It's called Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And what they do is they teach like the marketing business classes in high school.
Mhm.
So it's almost like, come with a business plan, show us like the profits and all that, how your business plan is, and you get the certificate in high school, and you end up being an alumni for them. So I was an alumni for Nifty when I was 17, and my business was airbrushing.
Yeah.
I was a very big airbrusher. So they started off as a small organization. They ended up being worldly. And for a very long time, they were trying to get 50 Cent. This is 10 years later. They were trying to get 50 Cent as their partner. And they're just trying to pitch to him, nifty 50. Like, I was like, it's going to go so well together. And now he's in a different space of his life where I do think like he's like better financially and all that too. So he's now one of their partners. They go and they email me, and we always get like over the years, there's always different emails like, "Hey, our alumni is doing this," or like, "Our new students are doing this," and all that. So they hold this gala. I'll never forget this day. I go home and they're just like, hey, Liv, we saw that you did artwork for 50 years ago or something like that. And we wanted to know if you would be honored in giving him an award on stage, him and Joseph Sikora. And I remember sitting in my chair in my living room and I threw up.
Yeah, I'm about to.
I was like this. I was just like, am I reading this right?
Yeah.
And I remember reading it like 5 times. I'm just like, you want me to give him an award on stage? Like, what? Like, he's probably not going to even remember me because it was 10 years ago. So now, and this is like a funny thing. Everything ends up being like full circle in these moments and all that. So they're just like, hey, can you do a painting to commemorate 21 years of Get Rich or Die Trying?
Mhm.
And I was just like, yeah, no problem. So I go and I do the
21
painting.
years.
Right.
Yes.
That's wild.
Oh my God, such a good outfit.
We are. How can that be if we're only 25?
Yeah, I know.
don't
honestly.
understand.
It's so
The
good.
math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I go and I do this painting and we have rehearsal. Oh my God, they're about to tell me, they're about to hear this. I don't care. It's the truth. But we have rehearsal where they do sound check and all that. And what they want me to do is they want me to read off the teleprompt. So, but what they wanted me to say was 9 years ago when me and my best friend stood in line to give him the painting, they wanted me to say that I sold him the painting. And I was just like, I'm not fabricating shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go on stage. Mind you, this is rehearsal. I do rehearsal because you wanted me to.
Yeah.
But I go on stage and I'm just like, don't do that, Liv. Like, don't lie.
Yeah.
So I go on stage and I'm just like, just want to let everyone know I'm not reading off the teleprompt.
Yeah.
This is in front of 400 people. And it's
Yeah.
a very big gala. And I know like their sound check people are already like, what the fuck is
Right.
Freaking
Right.
out.
Like,
Yeah.
beep,
But
beep,
in my
Pulling
mind,
cords, like, turning your mic off.
but you know, in my mind, I'm like, they're not gonna take the mic from me.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna have to tackle you.
Yeah.
So Arnie, I forgot what network he's on. Arnie, the anchor, is it NBC or he's a very big news anchor. He introduces me. I go on stage and I just tell everybody, hey, I just want to let everybody know I do really well with talking to people and looking at people. So I'm not reading off the teleprompt.
Yeah.
And I just basically say the story.
Yeah.
And like even the way that they want me to like say everything, to be honest with you, it's too scripted.
Yeah.
And I'm here, I'm just like, Liv, don't do that. So
Yeah.
he's sitting right in front of me
Yeah.
and I look at him, I'm like, we're here to honor you. And I was just like, and I have a story for you. But 9 years ago, my best friend's sitting at the table with me,
Yeah.
still best friends.
Yeah.
So it's a full circle moment. But my best friend's here with me, and I just want to say about 9 to 10 years ago, we stood in a line, a liquor store to give you a painting. And I know they want me to be up here and tell everybody that you're a mogul, you're a genius, you're a producer.
Yeah.
They want me to tell everybody what they already know.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell everybody that you were such a kind human being to me.
Mhm.
Because in what you did, you didn't have to do it. But you were just like, oh, I'm going to post on my page too and tag her.
Yeah.
And because of that, you changed the course of my life. And for the next 14 years, I own my own LLC. I own my business. And I end up being a prominent gallery artist.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's just like through the life of just doing something generous, right? Because he didn't have
Yeah.
to do that.
I love that.
And so this is all off dome.
Yeah.
So I remember too, he comes up, he accepts an award from me. Joseph Sikora comes up, and me and him talk. And I remember too, I walk down the stage and Joseph, Tommy from Power, mind you, beautiful man too. Like I walk down and he looks at me and because he reads off of like a whole script, I'm like, oh my God, you're an actor.
Yeah.
But he comes up and he was like, wow, like that was so beautiful. You spoke so well. And I literally looked at him, I'm like, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And the CEO, the CFO of that company, they come up to me, they're just like, that was so amazing. Like the fact that you just did that so well.
Yeah.
Like it was so incredible. When they recorded for their daughters, his management came up to me. They were just like, you spoke from a place of love.
It's from the
And
heart.
Yeah.
It's just genuine.
So then from there, they're just like, you should have your own TED Talk. And I was just like, oh my God. And I never think anything of it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, these people are just impressed by the fact that
Yeah,
I went with my gut.
Yeah.
From there, he had to leave the function early, which he left the painting. His management reached back out to me and they're just like, we want his painting. We want you to ship it to his headquarters in Hoboken. And I was like, okay. So he owns 2 paintings of mine.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's how, so that's how that happened.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Wait, did a TED Talk happen?
Wait.
Okay, so
Okay. I want you to tell the listener about all the cool shit you're doing right now because there's so much. Like,
oh my God, the
this
month
is
of
like
May
art
was
becoming
stupid.
like a business at its
Ah.
finest. Like Wall Street.
Yeah.
Is Macy's happening?
Yeah.
Macy's, this TEDx thing. Like,
Yeah. The month of May was just like stupid crazy.
Yeah.
And like when you were asking before, like how do I take a lot of people? Do I take small amounts of people and all that? And sometimes my schedule every single day is so different where like sometimes I feel like I don't have a choice on that, especially with the names of the people that bring me in, right?
Yeah.
So it was in the matter of just 1 week. I spoke at Yale.
Okay.
I spoke at Yale, and it was the very next day I had to go and drive to New York City to install artwork on Wall Street, and it's for Nifty. So they just relocated their building, their headquarters, and it's on Wall Street, and they're just like, hey, we love to support you. We love to buy a painting from you, and we would love to install it. We love for you to come up so that you could talk to us about it. So I come to Wall Street, and I feel so valued and loved too. Like the way that their office building is just so beautiful. But the way that they even like treated the artwork, they called in like their maintenance and all that to install it right in front of me. They have a whole plaque. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this is beautiful. The very next day after that, I go home. The very next day after that, I get invited to go to their gala. So it's the same gala as 50 Cent, but this year they're honoring Damar Hamlin. And that was honestly just beautiful. But I love being able to be in rooms with people that are big investors. They're investors into the small businesses and all that. And they show you how like these small businesses end up being such big corporations. Right after that, I get an email. So I install at this gallery in New Haven, Lotta Studio. And then I get this email where I was nominated for a TED Talk. And it happened from that gala. So I got nominated. I go and I apply. And there's 4 phases. So first phase is you just got to apply and tell them what your pitch is. And then I remember I get this email, threw up again, and I was just like, what? Am I reading this right? And they were just like, hey, we decided to move you on to phase 2. We just need like, and this is like 200 applicants. So I'm here, I'm just like, oh my God, you're gonna move me on to phase 2? Like, I feel like a contestant on a reality show that made it to the next episode. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. Right. This is fire. So then phase 3 is when out of the 200 people, they go and they pick the top 30 speakers. And then phase 4 is when they pick you. So we find out on the 23rd if I move on to phase 3. But I was just happy to move on to phase 2.
Right? Just glad to be in the room.
So by the time this airs, that will have happened. What are you going to talk about?
On TED?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my
because it's
pitch-
happening.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be clear.
So my pitch was that your ideas choose you. They choose you for a reason. They choose you because they think that you're the best person to fit the scenario. They think you're the best person to execute it. We're given vision because these are ideas that come to us, right? And if we wait too long on it, it goes to somebody else. So it's almost like trust your ideas. Don't betray your ideas. Your ideas are not stupid. They're not silly. Act on your ideas. Like immediately.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know the motivational speaker, he's older now, but he was big in like the 70s. Les Brown.
No. Wait, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah. He has in one of his talks, he gave this talk, and then Denzel Washington actually said it again at a commencement speech. And he said, imagine you're laying on your deathbed, and around you are the ghosts of the dreams, the ideas, the potential. And they're looking at you, and they said, we came to you. And only you could have given us life.
Yeah.
And now we have to go to the grave with you.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like a
Yeah.
perfect illustration of what you're talking about. Is like there are external forces, but there are internal forces. It needs
Yeah.
that combination. It's like
Yeah.
chemistry.
It
It
is.
needs like the reaction
Yes.
to ignite it, to spark it,
Mhm.
and to see it through.
Mhm.
And I think that's a brilliant talk. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll have a viewing party.
Yes.
Oh my God, I want to
Yeah.
invite all of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we'll be
of
there.
Connecticut.
We will
Connecticut.
so be there.
It's in
Oh.
Jersey City. But similar to, I'm very big. I love Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah.
She wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
She also wrote another book called Big Magic. And
Mhm.
in the book, she talks about how she was writing this book with a particular prompt, concept, and all that. But at the same time, she was just like, you know what? Maybe no one's going to like it, because she started questioning her ideas. So then she goes and she has another colleague that is another big author. And they don't talk about like their ideas, whatever.
Yeah.
But because she waited too long, her friend went and talked about that
Wow.
similar thing.
Wow.
And then in her mind, she was just like, wait, that's my idea. Like, did I ever say anything to her about it? And she was like, no, I don't ever. Like, I make sure I have an NDA about my ideas and all that,
Yeah.
so they're not taken. And she was just like, and she correlated into like, I didn't act on my idea
Yeah.
because my idea like trusted me, but I didn't trust my idea, and then it jumped to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah. You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do.
Right.
You
Yes.
have
Yes.
to
Don't think
actually-
about
Yes,
it too
yes,
much
yes.
either.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Do
wanted
it.
to ask, because we're nearing the end.
Mhm.
We've been having this discussion a lot lately, and I think it goes back to like the mental health aspect of it all. Obsession with what you do.
Okay.
And as an artist, you have to be obsessed with what you do.
Yeah.
The balance of the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
it does feel a lot of times when work is going well, personal life is suffering, or
Oh my
versa.
God.
Yeah.
it's like you can't have it all.
Yeah. The scale isn't
Yeah.
quite even.
And everybody has a variation of it. I know
Mhm.
I struggle with it a lot because I'm an addict. I've shifted that. I shifted my alcoholism to work,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm obsessed with work. And when I
Yes.
can't work, it feels like when my friends used to try to cut me off at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're taking something away from me. And that is my demon I need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that and I call it out. And the more I talk about it, the more like power I take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy about it. And I am trying to do a lot. And with Melissa's help, definitely calling me out
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to like, okay, like dialing it back doesn't mean you're taking away from your ambition or taking away from your dream. It's more of an equalizing.
Yeah.
How is that whole dynamic shown up in your life?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. I do. So I've been doing art professionally for the last 14, it's about to be 15 years. And one of the most important things to share with people is that when you do something for a very long time, you do fall out of love with it. And I feel like we have to normalize saying that, because there's like somewhere in between there is a love and hate relationship.
Yeah.
And it's always people. It's people that either make you love your
Mhm.
job or hate your job.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because
Hold for applause.
Yeah, it's like Melissa's about to like start levitating.
No, literally. I'm like,
it's always people that's gonna
Truer
either
words.
make you
Have
love
never been
or
spoken.
hate your job.
Yeah.
And like when I have great clients,
Yeah.
like I think the world of what I do.
Yeah.
When I have like not even you get your clients where like, you know, it's not like they're bad people and all that, but you get your clients where like they're particular or they're picky or like they end up being difficult.
Yeah.
And then there's like words exchange where you're like, oh my God, this is too much of my energy.
Yeah.
Because art is subjective. Either you like my stuff or you don't like my
Yeah.
stuff. And if you don't, I have other like references you can go to too. Because I love putting on my other art friends too. When it's like that, I do take a step back. And one of like my biggest things that ended up being like a big thing was fitness. And I'm very big onto, like I said, I want them to get to know the person, right?
Yeah.
But because now I'm very like mentally strong and very vocally strong too, and I'm very like direct.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to like, look at me and I embody what I speak. I look like what I speak to.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a thing like with women, like when you show like the things that you're not supposed to be to people, it's almost like you end up being like that very thing to people.
Mhm.
Like, they don't want women to be strong. They don't want women to speak up. They don't want women to own their own business, make more money. Or there's certain things that like are really plateaued onto women where I'm just like, I'm going to keep breaking that. Like, I'm going to keep saying how I feel. I'm going to keep talking my shit. I'm going to keep doing artwork. I'm going to keep showing them how I just show up every single day, because I know somebody else is going to look at this and say, if she did it, I can do it too. And with fitness, I used to be like a more endurance person until I went into like heavy into like strength training. And then from there, because I was just doing it for fun, a lot of the staff, the administration at the gym, they're just like, oh, you should totally compete. And I'm like, okay, sure. I go in, I compete, I take first place.
Naturally.
A casual
Naturally.
person. Not a problem.
Spoiler alert.
Not a problem. But she took us with her on the whole ride.
Yeah?
Yes,
Oh
it was
my
6
God.
months
Whole
of training.
training ride.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Insane.
it was from a place of just like escaping a different field of my life. Because the thing is just like sometimes when you do something for a long time, it could really overwhelm you. So I think like it's okay to place that energy that you still have into something else, right? Until you come back to it. Because then when we do come back to the thing that we originally loved, we're like, wow, I'm so good at this thing. I love it so much. Good thing I took a step back and like didn't like really burn myself through. I burned myself through something else to kind of get back to you,
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I want to so that's a perfect segue into how I kind of wanted to conclude the conversation, because we've been talking a lot about like normalizing things that don't often get talked about.
Yeah.
That, so you and I are about to work together. We're doing a project together. We're really excited about. And we've been talking about this for a little while. And when we were starting to get on the schedule, you were so truthful. We basically had a date that you were going to come by. And that was when all these other things started happening for you. It was the Wall Street thing and the Macy's call and the gala and all this stuff. And I respect the hell out of the fact that you popped into DM on a voice text
at midnight.
Midnight, yeah, that's right.
And it's not like me either. I don't do that with my clients.
Yeah. And you basically said, long and short was, I need to be really honest with you, and I feel like I can say this to you and you'll get it, that I have so much going on.
Yeah.
And I'll come if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would be like my best.
Yeah.
And I just need to make you aware of that. And so if the scheduling and the timing is the only thing that works, I will make it happen. I'm there for you.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I felt, and I said this to you in my response text and voice memo, is that I just have such a respect, because I know business owner to business owner,
oh man,
how much guts it takes
to say that.
Because it's not, I don't want to say it like it's an admission of defeat, but it's like this vulnerability of, I am a human. I do have a lot going on. And I can do it all, but I need to space it better for my own mental health, for my own balance in life. And if it works, great. And if not, I'm here for you and I'll get the job done. I'm your girl. And I like, especially as women in business, we're called upon to be a lot. All the time.
Oh my God.
And there is, I think, too, in artistic world and creative businesses, there's almost like a feast or famine mentality of like, if I don't grab it now, it is going to flee.
Right.
It's going to go somewhere else, or someone's going to lose faith in me or whatever. And I just want to compliment you and commend you on being open and vulnerable, but also like walking that line really beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much. That was the week of Wall Street and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember it was literally at midnight. I was just like, you have to be really honest with yourself. Be very honest with yourself and just hit her up, send her a voice note, and then just tell her everything. Like everything that's going on. And I was just like, okay, I just need like a couple of days. Because the way that things were happening back to back, it was almost like, if I would have took the project on, it would have been insane. It would have been really insane.
And I think that, that finding peace in saying no, it turns out to be a show of strength, because you also, it's not that you are too weak to do it or it's too overwhelming. It's that, integrity of your own art and yourself. I can't be my best. And the reason I'm doing this is because I love it. And back to your point about falling out of love with it, you do enough of those, like just crank them out because I got to. That's when you're like,
one
what
way to
am
fall
I
out
doing?
of love.
You know? And like, I've been in the same thing where people are like, hey, I've got something in 4 weeks. Can you do it? And I'm like, God damn it. This is going to be so stressful. I need the money. I don't end up making any money because I'm rush fees and this. And it's like, no. Whereas life would have been much better if I just said no. So it's like having that strength to say no, it's not, it's strength. It's not weakness at all. But also a testament to social media, the internet, the ability for you to connect. You know, like one, you wanting to hire Liv, but also you being comfortable enough to say that to Melissa. Like that is social media, and like the power of what it can do is like the connectivity you can have with your audience. It's not just like you're a fan, I am artist. It's we are humans. How do we transfer our energy? You want what I have, I want what you have.
How do we make this work?
How do we make this work to the best of our ability? I love
and that Saturday I had Macy's.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
And you're like, that just speaks, like you are the person that calls 250 people and says, I want you to hear my voice. I want you to know that I love and appreciate you as a person in this exchange. But this is how I have to change this or shift this. Like, I think that goes like you know, yes, about the social media, and that's that point of contact. Then it becomes the human hearing the voice, hearing the tone, going a little bit deeper, going one extra mile instead of just a text or whatever. So just
showing
that's
that
the kind of person that you are. And I want the listener to know that.
Oh my God. Thank you. And thank you so much for acknowledging that. Really. Thank you.
Fiyabomb, Liv, where can the people find you? I mean, it's not
everywhere.
I know. It's like such an insane question.
And beyond.
It's like,
in Biddy's house.
TED Talks, Wall Street Journal, like on the cover of Time magazine, like all of it.
Reaching
but like
for the stars.
Instagram, Twitter, where can people find you?
So I'm extremely active on Instagram. I have been active on Instagram for the last 14 years. I don't feel like it's going to change at all. But you can definitely find me on Instagram. It's Fiyabomb. It's Fiyabomb. It's all because this girl took it.
We're coming after her.
Yeah, exactly.
She still hasn't answered me back from 2012.
So, damn.
So
there should be a statue.
It's like
there should be a statue on that.
Oh, you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, it's been too long.
You can find me on there. You can find me, same tag as on TikTok, Fiyabomb. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can, I don't even mean it from a vain place. You can Google me. You Google me, you'll see all of
Google
like my
it'll be fine.
reviews,
You'll
my
see
blog covers, photo shoots and all that, where I'm covered at. You'll find all different articles. Or if you want to see my work too, you can just go on my website, fiyabomb.com.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that we could do this.
This is so good.
This is a good way to kick off the day.
So good.
Yeah, my cup is so full right now. Yeah.
And that's how it should be when you talk to other business owners.
Yes. Yeah. It just comes from a place of vulnerability, like in the best way.
You were the right person to have at the right time. Today.
As soon as you said the 42,000, I was like, I know exactly where he's going with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Melissa and I have been like hanging on by a thread lately and like kind of hold each other up, and you're the right person to sit in that chair
like
right
that,
now.
Especially where we're at right now, economy-wise, but it's like that for small business owners, especially creatives, artists. Like, we're just like, okay, we got to find a way to make shit shake, and like, this is where it's at. And we get more creative with
but
it.
the more you, and this has been a common thing, the more you dial into like who you are and what you need, that wavelength, the right person receives that, and you get attracted.
They come in, they're like, oh my God, I want to help her. I want to support her. I
want to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you brought up Liv months ago.
Yeah.
It was like, we need
her
on.
I've been following you for probably like 2 years at least.
But it was like,
you know
if we had you on 2 months ago, it probably would have been a different story.
Conversation.
But like, you're here now.
Right person, right time.
Oh my God.
We're both like struggling. We're both like, yes, and you come in.
Thank you for therapizing us.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to share, I was talking to one of my other friends about this too. They're business owners as well. I feel like when you own your truth, when you tell the truth, it comes out so fluidly where like sometimes when we do cover or when we have to fabricate or lie about something, it takes way too long. But when you tell your truth, the people are gonna feel. They're gonna know when you're telling the truth about something. Where it's like, wow, this person is telling the truth about something, and I respect it so much even more.
Right. And it lands better because I can, the three of us could sit here and be like, you have to be strong. You have to be resilient. You have to have endurance. You have to just get up when you don't want.
thing and we do that thing.
Yeah.
But if I just tell you, listen, I got screwed by this customer once and he like totally fucked up my life and this, then somebody will be like, oh yeah, that's strength. I can keep doing it.
I get it.
You know,
Yeah.
you got screwed out of your deposit and the venue, like, and yet you made it work. You rose to the occasion. You know, I've told a bunch of people, like, you do have to put yourself in that position of like, jump, burn the boats. Like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
if you want to take the beach, you got to land there, burn the boats. The only way to go is forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's it.
And you get used to it.
Yeah, my physical location, the first time I opened a store, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent.
Yeah.
But it was like, you do
Figure it
that.
out.
You sign that contract. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to
That's it.
figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
You know, it's like you got to, that's how you level up. But
Yes.
Yeah.
this,
Thank you
this
so
episode's going to be
much.
9
I know.
hours
No,
long.
it's great. As
Thank you.
many of them end up.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Yes.
you so much for being here. This
thank
this
you.
really
for having
was
Thank you for coming.
amazing, and I can't wait to see the artwork
Oh.
that you guys create.
Thank you.
And
And I'm
ready.
excited.
we'll definitely be
I'm
having
ready,
a,
but I'm not ready. I'm
we'll,
like so stoked.
we'll be having a watching party for your TED
For your
Talk.
TED Talk,
Oh my
for
God,
sure,
thank
for sure,
you.
for sure.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you again for being here, and thank you to the listener for tuning in to another
thank you
episode
so much
of
for
The
having
Fabric of
me.
America.
Thank you.